Craziest thing Kyrie Irving said.
You're not joking though, right?
No, I mean it was just like a point that the fact that could actually be real news.
Kyrie Irving is one of the best point guards in the league at the moment, and arguably one of the best ball handlers the league has ever seen. Regardless of how good Kyrie Irving is on the court, he's quite outspoken and says odd things from time to time. Kyrie Irving has some interesting beliefs about the world around him and isn't shy to discuss a good conspiracy theory either.
You just ponder the potential realities of the world and its possible roundness.
Yeah, spinning.
In February of 2017, Kyrie spoke up about a very well-known theory known as the Flat Earth Conspiracy that has divided a lot of people over the years. Kyrie appeared on Jimmy Kimmel Live, where he discussed the possibility that the Earth might not be round as many people around the world believe. He talked about the many pockets in our history that point to the fact that we might be blind to the many truths of the world, because certain institutions are trying to force one kind of education. It annoyed a lot of people, and there was a lot of backlash against the statements he made. At a Forbes event in Boston, Kyrie was asked about the theory and he apologized, saying it was ignorant of him to speak up like that.
You guys will have me back. I plan on re-signing here next year.
Boom!
While Kyrie's flat earth claims may have been too sensitive, he topped that off by playing with the feelings of the Boston Celtic fans. What made matters worse was that Kyrie took to TD Garden and addressed the Boston fans and told them that he would stay at Boston for many years to come. Kyrie not only lied to the Boston fans, but also kept the management under a shadow. He also said the following: "If you guys will have my back, I plan on re-signing here next year." Kyrie went back to his bench and hugged his Boston teammates. The crowd went wild as their star man was set to extend his contract and hopefully see his career out with the Celtics. But as we know, things didn't exactly go like that. Kyrie's trade rumors were catching heat the next year. Kyrie signed a 4-year contract worth $141 million with the Brooklyn Nets. Later, Kyrie talked about being happy with his decision, saying that he was glad that his career had led up to this, and if he had another chance, he wouldn't do anything differently. When asked about his speech the year before, Kyrie admitted that he was emotional at the event and might have let that cloud his feelings at the time.
I felt like I was the best option on every team I played for.
Recently, Kyrie made an appearance on a podcast where he said that he was the best option in the clutch on every team until now. The comments were taken as Kyrie throwing shade at LeBron James, and it wasn't too far from the truth. Kyrie had been very appreciative of Kevin Durant, saying that he was one of the best players he'd ever played with. Many people, especially LeBron fans, didn't take the comments too well. Many of them calling out Kyrie, saying that the point guard would have never won his ring if it wasn't for LeBron in the first place. When asked about the comments, LeBron said that he'd rather not respond. It was smart on LeBron's part because he was deep into the playoffs, and he went on to win the championship. Let's hope Kyrie can live up to his words the next time they face each other.
We shot a little too quick tonight, especially some of the shots I took. So, Game 3, I'm looking forward to it.
In the 2019 playoffs, Kyrie's Boston side met the imposing Bucks, who they destroyed in the first game of the series, winning by a heavy margin. Many pundits believed that the Celtics would sweep Giannis and the Bucks, as did Kyrie. Their overconfidence might have been their downfall, and in Game 2, the Bucks fought back and beat the Celtics in a blowout win. After the game, Kyrie was asked about the game, and he was annoyed, to say the least. He didn't appreciate many of the questions and said that he could talk about basketball all day, going as far as branding himself a genius of the game. While Kyrie is undoubtedly an NBA great already, that statement wasn't the best to give out after your team had lost in a crucial playoff game. Kyrie and the Celtics went on to be eliminated by the Bucks.
I don't really necessarily think of Christmas as a holiday, so...
Not too long after Kyrie's infamous flat earth comments, he was questioned about the prospect of playing through the holiday season, to which Kyrie had an answer lined up. He said that he didn't think of Christmas as a holiday. It was a strange comment to make, to say the least. Maybe Kyrie never really had a great Christmas experience, which is why he'd rather be out on the court balling with his teammates. Or maybe Kyrie just loves basketball way more than a holiday. Regardless, he was ready to go out and play against the Washington Wizards during the holiday season. Now that's what you call dedication to the game.
Being a leader is understanding the temperature in that locker room and what's best for us to win.
There aren't a lack of Kyrie Irving moments for the world to enjoy. One of them is a video that was taken in the Celtics practice facility where Kyrie was seen talking to Kevin Durant. Conspiracy theorists jumped on Kyrie's case, saying that he was probably discussing the possibility of a move where he could play with Durant. When asked by a reporter, Kyrie responded by saying who was asking the question. The reporter responded by saying, "The internet," to which Kyrie said, "Is the internet real for you in your life?" As history would go, Kyrie did eventually move to Brooklyn to play with Durant. Maybe the internet is more real than Kyrie would think.
Connected me more to Nikola Tesla, and then I started taking, just specific individuals throughout history that have been telling us things.
On an appearance on the JJ Redick podcast, Kyrie got into conspiracy theory territory again and casually mentioned that he was spiritually connected to the legendary inventor, Nikola Tesla. How things got there is interesting in itself. Redick was talking about how he doesn't believe in dinosaurs, and from there, the two began talking about conspiracy theories. From there, Kyrie talked about his meditative practices and said that through him, he felt more connected to historical figures, mostly geniuses like Tesla. It's a mystery why no one has called Kyrie the Tesla of basketball. Maybe it'll catch on one day.
Yeah, who cares? Who cares? I'm a basketball player. Prepare the right way.
Kyrie can be outspoken, but there's no denying that he is probably one of the best basketball players of all time. He knows of his skills and takes some pride in it too, but sometimes that kind of attitude doesn't fly after a big loss. During the same series where Kyrie called himself a genius of the game, the Celtics were down 3-1 to the Bucks and on the cusp of elimination. After Game 4, Kyrie was questioned about his poor shooting game, where he shot 7 from 22. The first thing that came out of Kyrie when he was asked to explain his performance, he said, "Who cares?" It wasn't uncharacteristic of Kyrie's sky-high confidence, but he was annoyed at the prospect of people questioning his dedication and his performances. He said that he was doing everything on the court, but it was difficult when their entire team was putting pressure on him. He added by saying this, "For me, the 22 shots, I should have shot 30. I'm that great of a shooter." While having that level of confidence is admirable, and someone of Kyrie's stature and talent has certainly earned the right to be that arrogant, it was still not the right time for those comments. Let's hope Kyrie can live up to the confidence this year with the Nets.
Whether it be tacos or whether it be a burger, as long as I cook it myself, I have a different appreciation for it.
Going back as far as 2017, Kyrie was doing an interview for an article where he was talking about his new vegan diet. He even said that the steaks we eat were not coming from anything natural. It does fall on a spectrum where you can believe that steaks don't come from anything natural and it's all chemicals, but it was still a bold claim considering that steaks do come from cows and cows are natural. You can get higher end steaks for a lot more money that are closer to being natural, but Kyrie doesn't believe any of that. By this point, you can see that Kyrie has a knack for saying outlandish stuff like that, but that's all part of his charm.
You guys have no idea. This is finally meeting my mom's family, and now I'm with you guys forever.
Christmas isn't the only holiday Kyrie seems to have a problem with. In an interview following a loss against the Knicks in 2018, Kyrie was asked about the prospect of playing on Thanksgiving, to which he replied that he didn't celebrate the holiday. He used much harsher words and later went on Twitter to apologize. It makes sense because Kyrie is part Native American on his mother's side, which is why he doesn't have the same excitement for the holiday. Native Americans and Thanksgiving is a touchy subject, and after an already disappointing loss, Kyrie was less than pleased. In his Twitter apology, Kyrie said, "I spoke with frustration after last night's game and spoke words that shouldn't have been in a professional setting, no matter what. Kyrie is a guy who wears his heart on his sleeve and says what he thinks is right. Many times, this kind of attitude doesn't gel well because he is, after all, a famous NBA player, and many fans take his words very seriously. Kyrie is an incredible ball player, and let's hope that he finds his feet with the Nets this season and does incredible things."